Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's topic, what is freedom? And also, what does it mean to you? I'm Mia Sines, and this is Lori Montree, and we are the founders of the Greatest You Academy. And so there's a difference between freedom and free will, and also they can go hand in hand. We're quite well aware of the political sense of freedom, or the regular everyday world is we have certain freedoms. We have inalienable rights and things like that. But we found that we really have to abide by what the universal government, or the government where we are coming from, abides by. So that limits us until it doesn't. So let's talk about what true freedom is. True freedom has nothing to do with what somebody else is saying in a boardroom. True freedom is all about you. So in our awareness, I wrote out a lot of stuff here. So I'm going to take some of my notes here. Freedom and free will are related concepts and have distinct meanings. Freedom generally refers to the state of being able to act, think, and express oneself without constraints or coercion. And on the other hand, free will refer to philosophical ideas that individuals have the ability to make choice and decisions independent of their determination and external influences. So this is a fascinating conversation to me, because whether you're highly connected to your country, whether it's to yourself, whatever it is, the process in becoming free is actually from you. And in order to have a personal freedom, we must remove the influences of others. That's the first state of being. And we know, and as Lori and I will get into talking, that's generally from our upbringing. That's our constraint, our binds, our ties, our cables, whatever that's holding us back. We must begin anew. We must discover our own format of who we truly are. If you ask yourself, who am I truly? You're going to find a lot of empty spaces, and spaces that you may say, I just am not sure about that. Only from there can you be free, when you understand and work to free yourself. It's a full body, mind, and spiritual experience. So anyone who has been on a journey to discover something about themselves is on a journey to seek freedom. And so, Lori, let's talk about some of the things that on an individual, so we have basically a blueprint for changing somebody's life and to creating an experience that can take them into another area. Each person operates on their own ability, right, on their own timeline in moving forward. So, Lori, let's talk about what it's like to discover what our true freedom is. It's absolutely the work that we do.
It really is. And, when I think about freedom and I think of the work that we do, it's really, that first piece is knowing who you are, right? How will you be free if you don't know who you are? It's absolutely the foundation of everything. And knowing who you are, we're talking about knowing what your gifts are, knowing what you were put here to do and what your expression in the world really, really is. And knowing who you are is, what brings you purpose and meaning and joy, whether that's in your vocations or your relationships and your health and your spirituality, all of these areas. What are my gifts? What brings me joy, purpose, and meaning? And then being able to create that for yourself. Because sometimes, I think it's an amazing thing when a person gets to the point where they know themselves and they know what brings them, right? Joy, meaning, and purpose. Like, that's huge. You are so far along on the journey when you can relate to that and you understand what that is. But then creating it is a whole nother piece, right? You may know very well what it is that you want and who you are and what you need and what you want to express in the world. But creating it is a whole nother aspect because we have a lot of things that hold us back, right? We have our limited thinking, right? Not believing that we can create that. We have our old stories that were created based on the experiences of our youth, and the messages that we received from our caregivers, from our peers, from just everywhere around us, including the media, right? So we have all these old stories, and then we have misaligned behavior, right? I want this, but I'm acting in a way that produces this other thing. I want health, but I'm drinking every day and eating candy bars and not moving and not doing any of the things that actually bring me health. I want an incredible relationship, but I keep finding myself in relationships that are not good matches for me. Also, when we feel tossed about by our emotions, right? When we feel constantly like we're trying to handle our emotions, whether they be anxiety or sadness or loneliness or overwhelm, all of these things. And these are the kinds of things that prevent us from being able to create those lives, right? Knowing who you are, knowing what brings you joy, meaning, and purpose, and then being able to create it. So, you're right that the work that we do, the Academy is created in order to help people get that clarity about who they are and what they need. And then the whole middle section of the Academy is all about how do we overcome this limited thinking and the old stories and the misaligned behavior and develop that emotional resiliency. And then the piece of, okay, now how do I go about actually creating that life? That life that makes me feel free, that life that makes me feel like when I get up in the morning, I'm like, whoa, what's going, you open your eyes, or maybe you don't even open your eyes yet. And you're like, okay, what's going on today? Oh my gosh, I get to do this and this and this. Yes, I can't wait to get out of bed instead of, oh man, it's Monday. I'm on a thread with some with my sisters actually, and they'll send little good mornings every day and stuff. And on Monday, it's always, oh, here we go, Monday again. And I'm thinking, how lucky do I feel? How free do I feel that I get to wake up on Monday and be like, yes, it's Monday. I love what's on my plate today. That's freedom. And that's what the Academy is really designed to help people achieve. So these are the pieces for me for freedom. And I think for most people.
Yeah. It's really important to know what you want, because we don't realize that we have this amazing ability to be and create exactly what we want. And most people don't even know how to do it or what's expected of them. They've never been tested enough to go beyond that space into the unknown. And so that's what's really cool about creating your own freedom, because when you finally break through those layers that have held you back from everything, and you absolutely get a deep-rooted connection to who you are, freedom is there. Freedom and love, and I'm not trying to sound cliche, but abundance. Because if you have freedom in your spirit and in your life or your relationships or your work or how you are with yourself, isn't that a smoother, here's another word, flow? Isn't that a smoother state of being, right? So declaring and getting freedom or free, and then let's talk about free will in a minute, but declaring and getting freedom is a personal journey that very few will go on. They think they do, but until you get to that side, that space where you feel the shifts and you want more because you're moving in a direction that changes your life so that you are the creator of it, that's what true freedom is. That's where the whole mind, body, and spirit relationship or soul relationship have to be activated in order to feel free. Many of you, I'm just going to have to bring it up. Many of you have known that I struggled with cancer for years, 3 years. But look at me. Do I seem like it? No. Why? Because there's a freedom within myself that I've developed and that I love. And I've been blessed with this unusual journey to learn more about myself. So the description of freedom is really about personal freedom, because I bet you none of you really care what your politician is having for breakfast or talking to one of his cronies about. And yet, on an exterior level, supposedly they control our freedom, right? Freedom of this law, or this or that. And that's not really what freedom is about. So let's talk about free will for a second. Most people don't know that they have free will. So that's a choice, a personal choice that you can do and use in your life. Even if it's, what is my freedom? What is my personal freedom for myself? Or free will? And examine that. How many have actually examined, sorry, I'm going to mute some of these lines here, examined what free will means to them, or even what freedom means to you? What does it mean to you? Does anybody want to say something before Lori comes back on? Just really quick, pop it out. What does freedom mean to you?
So freedom means to have the ability to know that I have these patterns and patterning from my childhood, and to be okay. Like, you guys have let me be okay. You've given me freedom in the academy to hold my story, but you've also given me the roadmap to having the freedom to be able to hold for more. And so now I'm starting to encompass more and have the freedom to know that I can have a life. I can reframe everything that was patterned into me. I can make myself a blank canvas, and I can start like a paintbrush, and I can repaint a new reality. And that is freedom.
That's
And I,
beautiful.
guys, because you held me when I didn't know that I had the freedom to do that.
Thank you, honey. And I'm gonna mute it again now. But when you look at that, Lori and I have nothing to do with your freedom. We have a beautiful structure here, a blueprint of how you can get there. But we actually have nothing to do with your freedom. That is your journey. And so that's what's very cool to understand too, is we are just a facilitator, a vision we had, something that made our lives work perfect, or we fought and worked till it was perfect. We loved it till it was perfect, or we still are, right? So we have nothing to do except for to support you, but thank you. I just want that clear, that Lori and I are two individuals that are here to love on y'all, but it's really the work and the stuff that you do with yourself, your own awarenesses, your own moving through your stories, your own rising to a place where you know that what you're doing is 1,000 times exactly where you need to be. That's what your personal freedom is about. It's about you living the life in harmony and peace and all the other beautiful accolades that you'd like to add on there. But creating it is up to the individual. Lori?
Yeah, yeah. How beautiful to think of our lives. And I could totally agree. As you know, blank canvases, we are the artists. And that's the beautiful part. So like Mia was saying, you know, it's not so much that we're painting a picture for you, but we are showing you, you know, the paint. You have the paints, you have the brush, you get to do that. So
we had a little quick it's beautiful in the chat. Karen says, do you think self-love is one of the ways to freedom? Absolutely. It's the only way. It's the only way, because if you don't understand yourself and can love yourself, how are you going to even demonstrate that you want more? It's a calling from the love that you've grown within yourself, turned your life into that personal freedom. So absolutely, it's been brought up a lot lately, and I mentioned about cancer before. Cancer or self-love is the only way that I've been able to ride this wave. And so when that book comes out, after when it's time, it's going to be about self-love curing cancer, because it's about the journey, guys. It doesn't matter if it's cancer, if it's a confused heart, if it's emotional trauma, which I've had all this, but it doesn't matter what it is. Self-love is the foundation for freedom. And thank you, Karen, for recognizing that, and feel into that. What do you guys actually want to do? Right? Lori and I love to give assignments. So spend time today and write out what freedom actually would feel like to you.
Mm.
And then think about, well, how could I go about creating that? And of course, we have lots of support in the Academy.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off there, Lori. I just was so excited about Karen's.
Yeah, no, yep, very wise woman this Karen is. And we take care of and we provide for what we love, right? And you have to recognize your worth when it comes to why would I want to create freedom? Why would I work so hard to overcome limiting beliefs, to overcome old stories like Nicole is so powerfully sharing? Why would I get up and do that hard work every single day? Because I love myself so much that I want to create that life for myself. And much of what we're talking about here is understanding the difference between reacting to life, right, and waiting for life to change. Like, okay, I'll be happy, I'll find that joy and meaning and purpose, etc. when my life circumstances shape up, right? When I lose the 20 pounds, when I find the person that's going to, take care of me, when I get the promotion, when I XYZ, the difference between kind of sitting back and being reactionary with life. Well, I can't possibly feel free today because I got this diagnosis, or because my car broke down, or because, my business is not doing what I want it to do, or whatever. And the difference between that being the reactionary individual versus, like we've been talking about, being the creator or the artist of your life. There is nothing that's on your heart that wasn't meant for you. In fact, if it's on your heart, that is an indication that the universe wants this expressed out in the world and needs you to do it. That's why you're feeling the pull towards it and the desire to make it happen. So this idea of freedom being an incredibly powerful shift from being reactionary to being the creator is really what we're talking about. And as we said, it involves knowing who you are, knowing what your gifts are, what brings you joy, what is your purpose here, right? And then overcoming the blocks that stand in your way, the old limiting beliefs, the old stories, the misaligned behaviors, etc. And then going on that journey of, well, okay, now how do I actually put it into place? What are the steps? And there are steps, right? We lead people through the dream, believe, create process, where we do just that. We dream it. What does it look like? How do I create it? And then get to live it. So this is very powerful topic. It's the difference between getting by and thriving.
And it's the difference between creating a life of your own creation as opposed to being a puppet. I hate to use that terminology, but being created by your circumstances or your society or your overbearing mother, like was in my case, right? So breaking free of those constraints and creating a life of freedom is about all the things that bring you great joy and great peace. And so that's really what freedom is, because we cannot move forward. And there are a lot of people who are into the political side of things, and a ton of memes are going and have been for years all over Facebook back and forth. And what I've noticed by talking with some of these people is, after these 6 years or 7 years that have been going on since 2016, that they are frustrated. Their change has not happened. And I've been hearing you and Lori need to get into that channel, because those are the people that absolutely need this work. So where does that reflect on you, right? You've got to have personal freedoms literally before you can actually even help another person. That sounds crazy, but again, you're lacking your self-love because you're taking an unfilled cup and pouring it out so that it's empty. So it's about growing yourself.
You know, we gave the idea of, you know, asking what does freedom look like? How do you make that happen? But you know what? I would love to ask people, it doesn't have to be the whole big picture all at once, right? We start in one area and then we grow it and we become it more and more and we embody it. What are some of the things one thing that you guys know, I want freedom from what today? I want to work towards freedom. In what area? What freedom would you like today? You know, I work with a lot of people who want freedom from emotional eating. That's one area, but it's so powerful to shift in one area, and the work to shift in one area is the same work to shift in every area. So yeah, as we think about this, you know, it's fun to play with one area and then watch how everything else changes. But let's put in the chat, what is something that you guys want freedom from today, that you know that this is not meant for you? I want freedom from what? Fill in the blank. Mia, what do you want freedom from?
What do I want freedom from? I can't think of anything right now because I'm quite joyful at the moment.
That's a great answer.
I'm assuming that Nicole's word is pain.
Yeah.
Pain, but yeah, pain.
Yeah.
Karen is freedom from people talking down to me. Absolutely. Allison, freedom from insecurities in relationships. Absolutely. Michelle, freedom from judgment. Oh, you guys, I love you. You know, this warms and melts my heart, and I feel like that a big hug is going around you, because these are the things that hold back humanity, that hold us back until it doesn't. Lori and I both experienced all of this, and it's an incredible thing to get to understand. When you remove the shame, the blame, and the judgment out of your experience, others begin to remove it towards you away. It changes. And then if somebody does come at you, it's literally different. You can almost even laugh and go, what was that about? You know?
And Mia, let me give him, this is I know it's crazy, and I don't know if it resonates with anyone, but I think it makes so much sense. You know, the judgment, and the insecurity, all of these things, when we truly believe in ourselves, we know who we are, and we don't judge ourselves, then other people can't judge us. And the example that I always give, and it's really silly, but I give it anyway. If someone said to you, I can't believe you're not a prostitute. Like, I just can't believe it.
I love it when Lori says it because it cracks me up.
You would not feel judged. You would be like, well, of course I'm not. Like, that's not why, that doesn't fit me. Or maybe, and if it does, that's okay too. I'm not,
okay, yeah.
you know, putting judgment. I'm just saying that's something most, you know, could relate to. There's no judgment because you're not judging yourself there. You're feeling good about the fact, right? Then yeah, okay, I'm not a prostitute. So if you can get to that point and understand what that means to be so secure in a part of you and something that you're, you know, have pride in, no one could judge you for that. And so we can get to that place for every aspect of our lives. We can feel so right and so in alignment with who we are and love that so much that it's impossible to feel judged. And if we do feel a touch of judgment, we can always look at that and say, am I living with integrity with myself? If I'm feeling judged, then maybe I'm feeling like there's an area in my life that I want to up level in. But when you're living the way that you want to, and you're in alignment, and you're practicing your freedom, we can get to the place where we no longer feel judgment from others, when we no longer feel that insecurity. That's the giant oak tree that has roots down to the middle of the earth that Mia and I always teach and talk about, because that's who all of us have the potential to be. We might sway in the wind a little bit, but there's no, pulling us out of the ground and swirling us around. It's a solid place to be. So I love this. And, yeah.
Lori, let's also share really quick. My heart is going out to these answers.
Yes.
And so know, you guys, that it wasn't your fault, right? First of all, get rid of blaming yourself. This is a thing that happens with every single being on this planet. We go through stuff where we feel judged, we feel shamed, we feel lost, we feel all of this until we don't.
Insecure.
Insecure.
That was a really big part of my journey, was to overcome that early childhood abandonment, insecurity, fear of, being left, of betrayed, all of that.
And my language center used to close off when I would get in certain situations that were shocking. And so that's one of those beliefs that, okay, she didn't respond, so it must be a yes, right? So what's developed is my language center has come back online. So no matter what the situation is, as you develop yourself, you're going to be able to develop everything, including the way you respond to people. There was this huge incident at Whole Foods where this woman was buying groceries on her EBT card, which I guess is a food stamp card. And it was a nightmare. My husband got very irritated and started throwing the groceries back in the cart and went to another line. And the woman looked at me very rudely and said, "How could you live with a man like that?" I said, "Well, actually, we live together pretty fine, but I don't know what this is all about." And then I asked my husband, he just said, she was driving me crazy, 10 minutes there. So the point is no matter what's thrown at you, you know how to handle yourself without going out of alignment, right?
Yeah.
The world can do whatever they want, but you are harmonious.
Mia, I have to tell you about this. Reminded me of an experience that I had that I love so much. I went to the bank on Saturday, and I had to do this. I was doing a wire transfer, so it takes a minute, right? And so I was standing there, and the woman was helping me, and everything was great. And this older woman walks in, and she's standing there in line, and there's this, music in the background, and she's kind of just, going about her business. She's got these cute little pants on with flowers. And I thought to myself, oh, what a peaceful being, And a few minutes later, who I presume to be her husband, opens the back door of this public bank and calls in, "Marjorie, you coming?" Like, there's a line here, just like that. So, okay, a few more minutes go by. He leaves, he comes back in, just, walking. He sits down and he starts, digging through the candy dish and this and that. And every few minutes, he's got to say something, "Come on, Marjorie, what's taking so long, Marjorie?" Like the line is her fault or so, and she's just the whole time, dee. So he huffs and puffs and he walks out. She finishes up her transaction. She says, "Thank you so much." She walks by me, says, "Just love your outfit today." Like she lives with this, "Marjorie, this and that." She was just unaffected. Like, this is my Saturday. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Exactly.
But she just had her peace. And I loved that. And I thought to myself, it's a great example of what we're talking about. Our life can be dependent on our circumstances, or we can make our own life and be free of all of that. Now, I'm not saying that, we should not work to make our lives better, or that, all of us would want to be in that situation where we had to hold ourselves from, this. But the point is, right, that we have that freedom. And this woman was exercising it beautifully. She got to live her life the way she wanted to, not what Mr. Grumpy Pants wanted. And it was really fun to see. She made my day. Not only because she liked my outfit, but because she just was rocking her existence, right?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. All right, everybody. So please know your freedom is within you. Deep down, you can have it. It's your divine right. We're dubbing it your divine right to have that's my magic stick, with all the fairy dust coming off. But literally, there is a way outside of the fear, the judgments, the shame, the insecurity, absolutely. And just because Karen was so right on about the self-love, I just have to say this, guys. Lori and I have, and it's going to be a little bit slower than we thought. It'll be in 2024, but we're up leveling self-love. So I'm the self-love teacher. She's the emotional freedom, freedom from emotional eating. Together, we are the greatest you, bringing everything wrapped around to support you. So the self-love absolutely is the conduit to get to the other side. So don't give up on your self-love journey. Without it, we're lost, literally. That's our one thing that as we break through to who we actually are, we get to discover this beautiful essence of more, of more, of more, until you start to have, and don't be afraid, communications with yourself of, I do love you. And then you're like, wait a minute, who said that? But it comes from within. So it's there. Keep doing the work, keep reaching, have a fear journal and have a joy journal. And all these thoughts about why self-love's not right for you or why you can't dig deeper, you put it in that fear journal. Because at the end of it, when you transform yourself, you're going to do a ritual and burn it, because those are lies about who you are. They're just patterns that got set, and now you get to change your patterns. So
just like Nicole in the blank canvas that she gets to play with now and create. Yeah,
beautiful. And Karen, it doesn't matter that you're 60 now. You deserve it always, whether you were 5, 20, 30, 40. And so, yes, you're right. Enough is enough. So beautiful. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's great to be with you. And we just want to mention too that if you have any thoughts or something that comes up out of this work that you're doing right now, you want us to speak to, you have a specific question, we would love to take your question and create our next teaching out of it. So let us know what kinds of things are on your mind and what you want support around. That's why we're here. That's why we show up on Tuesdays is for that.
You can write it back on the email if that's easier, or if you're a part of the Facebook group, The Greatest You Revolution, put it in there on, do one of those picture things, or you don't even have to, and tag Lori and I, and we will be Johnny on the spot back to you.
Yeah, and that might help other people who could come in and say, yeah, I need support on that too. And here's, how it looks for me or whatever. And let's start to create, more opportunities for you guys to get supported with your specific, challenges in a more pointed way.
Beautiful. All right. Off goes the recording.